Hey there, Pauline here. Some people have been asking me about how I created my small series on paper. So I thought I would just walk you through some of the things that I did to prepare my paper and how I pull it together in the end. So I hope you find this helpful. Now, the pieces that I did are small little pieces. They are 7.5 inches tall and 6 across, and then once they've been taped off, the artwork is 4.75 by I think 5.5. And I think next time I'll do them bigger, but I really wanted to see what it would look like with a white border, which I really love, because what it ended up doing was helping me to go more mid values in some of my pieces. And then I often checked the work with viewfinder, which I made. I'll grab that now so I don't forget. So I have these little L-shaped mat board. I bought it, but then I cut it to get an L shape, and I just taped them together to get a window, because obviously when you're working with tape down, everything gets to the edge and it looks really messy. I can even show you the difference because I've got a couple here. But the difference between having a white edge versus while you're painting, I just find that really confusing. So I check my work. Now these are bigger, right? But I check my work by matting over this so I can see. And then when I think it's close, I'll pull the tape off. If I had to, I could put the tape back on again if I wanted to work more into it, which is probably what's going to happen with this one. So I just took a mat board and I cut it so that I could make a viewfinder. Now the sheet of paper that I have is 300 pound. So this is the sheet that I have. It's rag all the way around with the long edges, the most rag. And I haven't measured it, but I can quickly because I have a measure tape here. I think it's about 22, well, let's just see. Okay, so this is 22 and a half. And by 30, 22 and a half by 30. And I have a package here that I ordered, and this is Stonehenge Aqua HP 300 GSM. I forget where I got this because I've had it for a while. I just, in my other studio, things would get stocked and then I'd forget that I had them. But this sheet here, as you can see, when it's really small, let me get that other little guy, is super thick, super thick. So it's pretty heavy duty paper, and I gesso it, and I gesso it for a couple of reasons. I think I started gessoing it because I heard that from an artist who did this, because you can also mount these on wood panels if you don't want to frame them. But also it just, for me and the way I work, that's very process driven, I feel that it's more resilient for me, and I don't worry so much then if I want to scratch into the paper and things like that. So this gives me a bit of a barrier. But the other thing that's really nice is when I tape it, I don't get any ripping of the paper. I really like that. The other thing is that bleeding does happen with tape, so I just follow the line and I gesso over little spills. So, all of them had little spill marks, and, with gesso, if I've gessoed behind, then I can just touch up. And I did a little video on me touching up, but I mean, it's a no-brainer. A very nice, small, angled brush, and you just dip it into your gesso and just gently paint around the edges. Okay, tape. Now I've tried a bunch of different tapes. This tape, I ordered online on Amazon. It's called, why don't I spell it? Poguan. And I bought it because it was white, and I bought it because it was listed as artist tape. It's pretty good actually, but I still had bleeding, particularly when I got really watery with my paint, and even, you know, layers later. But anyway, I bought, they came in a package of 3, and I wanted the white because I found it the least distracting, because I have green tape, blue tape, I have blue tape that's for exterior as well, and it's got all this logos on it. So, you know, that's why I chose the white tape, and that's why I bought this, and I really, really like it. I love it that it came in a number of different sizes, because the edges of the large sheet, let's just say this is the large sheet so that it's easy for me to show you. The edges, I went around with the small tape, and then I cut the, I marked out where I wanted to be cutting the large piece down. And so with that sheet, it was 1, 2, 3, and then I think it was 1, 2, 3. And so with the big tape, I went down the middle. And the reason for that is because 2 of these makes the width of this, and I'm going to be cutting down the middle. And I taped the whole sheet first. Thin all around the sides, fatter down the middle, because that's where I'm going to cut it in half, which makes all the edges the same width. If I didn't change the size of the tape, then I would have the outside, one of the sides thinner, which I didn't want. And so what was I going to say? Yeah, okay, so I marked it all out first, and I taped everything first. And some people actually paint all, you know, just get the whole sheet started. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, because I've done that before, and I found that like kind of confusing. So I ended up cutting a couple of them out. And as soon as I did that, I didn't even work on them yet, I felt this enormous sense of freedom. So I thought, I'm going to cut more. And then I ended up just cutting them all, and at once, and I worked on each of them individually, but multiples, and that worked for me. I think people should do whatever works best for them. This one here, I'll just show you. I can still see some of the leakage coming through on that. I don't know if you can see that because there's windows around, and it might blast it out, but you see I can touch that up with gesso, and it's not a big deal. So I worked on multiple pieces at once. I lined them up on my trolley, I worked on a few, and then I put it in front of a heater so that it would dry quickly, so I could keep the movement going. Now I have this little transparency sheet that I was working on as well. I probably don't need that now, but when I was working on these, I didn't have my wood surface covered. Now I've got some plastic down on it, but I just had a really thin sheet. I think it was for, oh, here it is. It was for, you know, I think kitchen, you know, some mat you can put in your kitchen, maybe even for cutting, but I, you know, in my move, I was using this for something else in the other studio, but I found this and I thought this is a great little sheet to work on. So that way then I didn't get paint everywhere. But now that I have this wood covered, I don't need this. So I just lined them up and worked on them. You know, I just followed my bliss. And as soon as I ran into a wall, I would stop. And there's a couple that have, 3 that didn't get done. But the tape's still on, and I can keep going. So, and then the last tip I wanted to give you was when I varnished these, I secured the mark making first. I fixed that first, tested it, then I varnished it just on the painting. I signed it, and I fixed that as well. But then, you know, and this was after I had cleaned all the edges up. And then what I did was, and I signed this with pencil, but then what I did, which I just kind of came up with that idea because I wanted this varnish to have a different feel than the edges. So I went around the edges with clear gesso, and that went right over my signature too, which is really nice because this is rough and this is smoother and this is matte and this has a glossier finish. However, I did mix my varnish. I took a satin and a gloss and mixed them together to get the kind of sheen that I wanted. So I hope you found that helpful, and yeah, hope you're doing good. Let me know that you could get this okay, and well, a pre-happy holidays to you. Okay, take care, and let me know if you had any if something didn't make sense. Okay, bye.